guys, welcome back to another episode of Your Day with Yewande. If you're new here, thanks for joining. I'll reiterate it a bit for you. So I just like to do hood rat stuff with my friends, and my friends are very talented people, so I thought to share their talents with the world. And also, I'm a competitive babe, so I like to make it into a challenge. That way it's interesting for you and they're not just talking about themselves the whole time. Cool. So this week, as you can tell, we're doing DJing. I don't mean to brag, but in the space of a few weeks, I picked up the phenomenal talent of DJing. I'm pretty good, if I do say so myself. So my talented friend is gonna have a serious competition on her hands. I did say her, so I'm about to introduce her. She is a model extraordinaire. She's a DJ, she's a makeup artist, and you know, there's a lot more on her plate. She's also like events managing. I can't even tell you, the list is so long, but she's just amazing. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce Talia. So I've known Talia like all the important years of my life. We met in year 7.
Yes, we did.
Year 7. It was a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how many years.
4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years. Oh, it's such a long time.
Yeah.
But I love her with all my heart. Ever since I saw you on the grass.
You're so
I'm not gonna lie, you were like the magnet on the grass that gravitated that group towards you, because it was you and like, I won't say all the names, but everybody else in it. Yeah, but you're the glue. But Talia is my amazing friend. So do you want to introduce yourself? I didn't do a good job because you do so many amazing things, so you say it with your own mouth.
Okay, I'm Talia A, darling. I'm a DJ, model, makeup artist, content creator, and there are other stuff, but I'm just a creative, all-round creative.
An amazing creative. I think you're forgetting a few adjectives there.
Stop.
She's very talented. Follow her on Instagram, all of that stuff. It will be down in the description box below. So you're all of these amazing things, dabble into it a little bit more.
During lockdown, I've just been focusing on content creation, Instagram, a lot of body positivity stuff, self-love and that sort of thing.
Amazing. It's honestly been such a privilege to like watch your journey through all the years, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope our audience can enjoy just a smidgen that I'm gonna give them in this however long episode. Yeah, so just to get a bit more out of you on those topics and on your life, I'm gonna take you on a date.
Okay.
I'm not paying there. Oh. Yeah. Oh, wow, where is my date? It's already past 9 p.m. I've already collected congestion charge.
I'm here, babes. Don't worry.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Thanks for coming out of your house for me. I really appreciate it. I got you some flowers and magazines.
Oh.
I'm better than your man. So Talia, tell me about yourself.
Oh my gosh, you're so weird.
No, yeah, so you gave us a quick introduction, and this is the part where, you know, I delve who you are. Don't worry.
How long have you got?
Don't worry, the questions aren't going to be like super invasive, even though I am the laziest person. I know enough about you, so let's not delve into it on camera. First things first, let's start with the basics of how you actually got into DJing.
So I went to university, and I was in my second year at this point doing hair and makeup, and I was like, I want to learn to DJ. And I remember being like, how can I do it? I have a sort of mind that won't do something like the basic route.
No.
I won't do something the basic route. I'm just like, oh, oh, what can I do? How can I make this a thing? So I had a friend that knew how to DJ. I went to him and I was like, I want to learn how to DJ, but I don't want to pay for it. So how do we go about this? And I was like, I was working in the theatre at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have space. They've said that they will give it to me for free on a Sunday. I have a DJ that will teach. I was like, well, why don't I get people to jump on this course as well and then create a DJ school? So Crossfade was born. It was me and Andrew AA, shout out to him, our baby. And yeah, it was a 6-week DJ course and it had a club night as a showcase.
Sick.
So I learned to DJ, in 6 weeks. And then we did the club night. I'm telling you, I was nervous that night. And then after that, I was like, right, I'm putting DJ in my bio. And that's how it began, really.
I mean, after today, I think I should be able to say that.
Do it.
Fingers crossed.
Do it.
That's sick. So, as you mentioned in your answer, sorry, I don't know why, I feel like I just skipped past that, but it's sick. But in your answer, you mentioned that, you don't take the direct route to anything.
Yeah, no.
To anything at all. So just to reiterate, we went to school together. And I remember when we all, we went off to college. And then after college, we were all going to uni. And you were like, oh yeah, by the way, I dropped out of college.
Yep, that was me.
I mean, we couldn't really say anything because we all failed the first year of college anyway. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, so you dropped out completely. And then when we all went off to uni, what was it, like a year or two after we'd already started? That's when you're like, I'm going to uni, guys.
Yeah.
So talk me through that whole process. Let's start with college. Like, why did you even drop out?
So going back to GCSEs, I wasn't really academic, very creative.
Yeah.
I was into drama, musical theatre. That was my thing. I was like, I'm going to be an actress. I was like, I'm going to be an actress, I'm going to be a singer. And then started doing musical theatre in college, and I was good at the singing, dance and acting, but never good at the written side. And it was just becoming very difficult. I did sociology, performing arts and media, and I just struggled so much. And at that time, my mum was really sick. So if I would say 16, for about 5 years before that, I had been a carer for my mum and my little brother. So it was a lot to deal with. My mum was, really briefly, she was just having, I say just having, she had like 4 brain operations.
Like, don't worry, we'll come back to that. Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to do. And I remember seeing my teacher play the cello. It was such a weird moment. And she looked like she was so in love with what she was doing. Yeah. And I remember going back to my mum and crying and be like, I need to find something that does that for me, because this college thing is just not working. So I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna drop out. And I actually did a year and a half of college, and it was only 2 years.
Yeah.
So I actually had just the exams to do, but I was like, I'm not gonna pass.
Yeah.
So I just dropped out, and I was like, in the meantime, I remember finding a beauty brochure for my college, and I was like, oh, it's free, so why not do this in the meantime, do a level 2 in hair and beauty, whilst I'm trying to find my passion and trying to find what I'm doing. So that was that whole college experience. Yeah.
I remember that was so weird. We're all up here doing maths, doing psychology, and they're telling me, oh, I'm playing with brushes today. And I just remember just looking, not that I was judging you, but I was just looking at you like, what? Where are you going?
I really just was a bit of a lost soul.
But we all were. I think, do you know what? I commend you so much on giving yourself the time to find yourself. I think a lot of us in the education system, we just get lost in education. It's like secondary school, now it's time for college, now it's time for uni.
There's really not one route, like there's so many, and I'm grateful for the route that I took. I'm grateful for dropping out. I do not regret that decision one bit.
You really gave yourself time to breathe and we're reaping the fruits of it now.
Yes.
So, do you know what? You're actually giving me excellent segues in your answers. Thank you, because the next thing
It wasn't even planned.
The next thing I wanted to touch on was your mum. So, Auntie Shana, love her to bits.
Yes.
And we never saw it. We never saw it. Even you becoming her carer, I don't think it was an apparent thing. It was just, oh, Talia, how are you? Oh, how's your mum? Yeah, she's sick. Okay, that's really sad to hear. No idea what she had. No idea she was going under so many surgeries. So, tell me about it.
So when my mum was 31, she was walking down the street and she said that she felt someone hit her in the back of the head. And she turned around and there was no one there. So she went into the hospital and they was like, oh, you probably just got migraines, like it's nothing. They sent her back home and she went into the hospital and she was like, no, my head is horrible, this feeling. You need to investigate, you need to do something. So they gave her a lumbar puncture, which is a needle down the spine. And when that happened, she came out of it paralysed. She was paralysed from the mouth down. And she spent, I think, 5 weeks in hospital at the time. And this was before secondary school. It was year 6. And me and my brother we didn't go to the same primary school, but we were split up. With our cousins. My brother went one place, I went the other place. And my mum was in hospital for 5 weeks and no one really knew what was going on, what was wrong with her, but we just knew she kept going in and out of paralysis from the mouth down, so she could not speak. But when they did further investigation, this is a long story, I'm just trying to proper condense it.
We got time.
When she went into hospital, because they discharged her, when she went back in, they realised that she had a condition called ACM type 2, which is Arnold-Chiari malformation type 2, which means the base of her brain goes into her spinal cord. And when you do a lumbar puncture, it leaves them paralysed. She had another condition called hydrocephalus, which is a build-up of fluid on the brain. So whereas ours just regulates, hers builds up and causes pressure. So her first brain operation, and now this was when we was in college, like I think one happened in secondary school, but it was more in college. She had a shunt put in, and it's a mechanism in the brain, and there's a wire that goes down to her stomach. And it was working fine, and then it stopped working. So there was like, right, we've got to go in again. So she has something where it's a minor brain injury, minor brain surgery and major brain surgery. When she has minor brain surgery, she's always awake for it. And when she has major brain surgery, obviously she's under, and that's when they're putting the shunts in. So when we was in school, all this was happening, and we was either separated, me and my brother, who's 6 years younger than me, separated, or I was looking after him. And then it was just a struggle because my mum was deteriorating in front of me. And only now I realise that I didn't get the childhood with her that I feel like I should have had. And it wasn't her fault. And so I never forget, there was one point where she would just go in and out of paralysis, and she has this thing, it's like an episode, we call it, where she has seizures, but they're absent seizures. So she literally, it's like her eyes glass over and she is just not there. And she's just sitting here and her head droops. And it's just something that I've had to deal with. Me and my brother know the signs. I can see when my mum's that's about to happen. And we just had to learn how to handle it. There was even times where it was when we was in our first house, and she literally turned into a child. So she had her absent seizure. She literally just brushed my hand away, and I was like,
ma'am,
excuse me. She brushed my hand away, and she was literally talking like a baby. Get away from me. I'm sorry, what? Mum? Mother? Get away from me.
So how old were you at this time?
If it was in our first house, I was probably about 15, 16.
Okay.
And she was like crying for her mum, and her mum passed when we was in year 7.
Right.
So that's my nan, passed when we was in year 7, and I was 11, so I'm 16 now. She's been dead for how long? And she was calling out for her mum, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And it's like she's literally turned into a baby. And it was difficult, and so that was a time when I was in college and I didn't know what to do. So not realising that I was different in terms of, like, later down the line I found out I was dyslexic, dealing with my mum and dealing with my brother. So my mum now has had 6 brain surgeries in total, but she's doing all right. I say all of this, and you know my mum. She does not look she does not look like anything has happened to her.
Where I was going with this, because
you know my mum.
Because the timeline you're giving me is like, who the hell was I interacting with when I came to your house?
Right?
And that's you and your mum, like, you are very strong women, and you don't show when you're going through it. Your poker face is exquisite, because how are you going through all of this? And I ain't got a clue.
None the wiser.
I ain't even got a clue. Your 16th birthday party. Her 16th birthday party was the first sleeper. I can't even tell you the excitement. And actually, we can't go to sleepovers. Her sleepover was the only sleepover I've ever been to.
I remember that.
And I remember that was such a fun
And we
time.
had the barbecue after. My mum was going through all of that.
And that was in the rot of it. No. Hands up. Because, no. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. I kind of want to touch on self-confidence, self-love, mental health, because over the last few years, that is something I've really watched you come into at the same time as coming into it as myself, but it's literally like watching a flower blossom. That's the best way I can explain it. You're just in full blossom now, and it's just beautiful seeing you walk in your truth, the body positivity. It used to annoy me so much. You actually,
it's all coming out now,
me, because it was just those times it was like, Talia, you look gorgeous, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
So just seeing you now and you're fully embracing it. Talk to me. How did we get here?
Right. So secondary school. We'll go back to secondary school, Haggy days, and I was confident on the exterior.
Yeah.
At school, always in the choir, performances.
Of course, sorry, your mum was a choir.
I literally just remembered that. I was like, oh, my mum used to teach you that's choir.
Okay.
Yeah. We used to be in, I used to be in like the school plays, school productions, all of that. Loved performing, loved being on stage in front of everyone. But inside, I was such a mess, so insecure, and it all came from my weight. I was adamant. Since I was young, I was like, I'm not going to be happy, I'm not going to find love, I'm not going to do all these things until I'm slim.
Yeah.
And that was literally like my mantra. I then went to college, and that was the first time I was interacting with boys in our, within education. And it threw me, and I was very like, again, still in the play, still confident, but I was just like, in my head I was like, everyone is judging me.
Yes.
And that was my thing. I was like, I wanted to be outlandish and out there, but not too much for you to look at me and say, because my thing was, if I did something wrong, you're just going to be like, oh, you're fat.
And I think we got that freedom in secondary school,
right,
to be ourselves,
right,
because to other girls, it just doesn't matter.
You're just different. And so there was that. When I was in secondary school, I also didn't start my period until very late. And I mean, I think like by like year 8, year 9, I was like, haha, I don't have a period. Everyone's like in pain.
Ouch.
And then it got to like year 11, I was like, oh, everyone has their periods. I feel a bit of an odd one out now. What's wrong? Went to doctors, diagnosed me with polycystic ovary syndrome. And in that point in my life, I was like, oh, it just means I have irregular periods.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something I can live with. Cool. And I'll touch on that one later. The last year of uni came, and so by this point I'd been experimenting with my fashion and hair, and I was like, cool, I like to take a selfie. I feel pretty from here, but like the rest of me, I'm just like, let's not. And then I just started a dance school. Now this wasn't my dance school. This wasn't my dance school, but it was a friend of mine. And she started a dance class for plus size, curvy ladies. And just being more in touch with my body sort of changed it. I then joined the plus size community online, and it just changed my perspective on things, and it changed how I saw my body. I saw my body as this disgusting thing. And every so often I'd walk past the mirror and be like, looking good today, sis. Hey, swear down, that's you. And me that way. And then I literally just started to believe in my own source and just talk to myself, positive affirmations, because I was so scared of judgment from other people. That is why I was hiding myself away. And it got to a point when I started working with just like everyday Joe blogs, just random people. I was like, if you don't like me and you say, you're just a trash human, I don't really need to talk to you, move on. And I could never get that. I wanted people to like me so much, and I could never get past that point. So just during being part of this plus size community, just hearing other people's stories and sharing experiences, I just got more confident, and then started to model, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, people like what I'm doing. Just having all these things fuel me, I was like, I can't live my life not loving myself, and I want someone to love me, and I can't. That don't make no sense, does it? So I've just been trying to be an activist on Instagram, in any campaign I can, and just my thing is just learn to love yourself. Doesn't matter if you are 30 stones, doesn't matter if you're 10 stones. I just need, because especially women, our weight fluctuates on your period, children, bad day, like water retention, all of that. And how can I say that these things are normal? And I just need to love myself at whatever point, and we'll deal with whatever that point is when we get there. But and that's really where my confidence has come from. And there are just so many little things where I would never, like this would be too short for me to wear. Be too short for me. See, now I'm like, have my back out of doors. Like, I actually don't care. Like, what for? What am I doing? And I'm like, people are gonna say I've got fat arms. And I was like, you see, when you have your long sleeve, they can still see your fat arm, you know? I just need to recognize, I'm like, okay, Talia, you're a bad bee. So, you know this. You might need to take a time to sit in your feelings, and that's fine, and then we step out.
And we're, back to the bad bee again.
Yeah.
Come on. Speaking of good days and bad days. That's why if you segue one more time.
Stop, it's like we're connected.
Mental health. Let's delve into that, because I feel like you have become a mental health activist without actually being a mental health activist, just from the sheer fact that you share it. A lot of people don't share the bad days, and especially being the strong exterior that you have been for so many years, watching you share your down days was just like, thank God. At least it's going somewhere. So talk about Tell me how it's fluctuated. Tell me how you've dealt with it.
For me, when I was growing up, mental health wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Black people don't suffer with mental health. Therapy, ugh, that's a white man's thing.
It's just
like literally, and let's pray about it.
Yeah.
Prayer does help, but also
faith without works is dead, my guy.
Right?
Gotta do something.
You've got to use some wisdom. And I didn't understand mental health until I think I was about 20 years old.
Wow.
I witnessed someone get stabbed.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yes, outside my workplace. And it was crazy because that day was such a good day. And I remember I went with my friend to the dentist and we came back, and normally, say my shift was from 5 till 11 o'clock, we actually got to go at 9 because the show was short, and it was such a great day. It was like la la la. And I never forget, I was coming outside. No, so I didn't witness it. So I was coming outside and someone shouted, "Call an ambulance, we need someone that's first aid trained." And I was managing the theatre at the time, so
you were first aid
I was
trained.
first aid trained. So I was like, right, let's do this. I remember calling the ambulance, running out with the phone. Outside, this boy is bleeding everywhere. And he had been stabbed 4 times. And I went into work mode. I went into, right, we've got to save this boy's life. So I was applying pressure and everything to the right places. At the time, I'd only seen 3 stab wounds. We missed the 4th one at the back. We didn't see it. And I remember I had braids at the time, which I never normally do, and they just kept falling in. So we was trying that. The ambulance was taking its time. Police was taking its time. Bear in mind we're in like the middle of Dalston, and bear in mind there was no emotion at this point, no emotion whatsoever. Came up, I had blood on my hands, blood on my hair, my shoes and my soles. The soles of my shoes were white, blood everywhere. Walked inside. It's like, okay, cool. Barling. I was like, cool, the job's done now.
Yeah.
Barling. Remember, I had eyelashes on.
Gone.
I was being sick. The blood everywhere on my face. Someone else's. And I remember wanting to leave. I was like, I just need to go home. So I was like, sorry, officer. I've done my job. I want to go. He was like, no, you're on standby because if he dies, it's a murder. And I was like, so what? What do you mean a murder? This is not Grand Theft Auto. What do you mean a murder? My manager texted me the next day and she was like, you don't have to come in. And I said, no, I do have to come in. Because I can't function like this. I can't stay at home still waiting for him if he might die. And I started to freak out because the boys that it had happened, where it had happened, it was boys from the local area. And I'm very distinctive. So I was like, they're gonna notice me. They're gonna notice me. Like, I'm a big black girl. I got these braids, red at the front, black at the back. They're gonna try and finish me off. So I remember walking down the street being like, looking down to the ground. I was like, what is going on here? And I was convinced that the blood would still be outside my workplace. I came, obviously it wasn't there. Went to work and everyone was like, oh, you right? How are you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I kind of just don't want this though. And that is when mental health hit me because it started to deteriorate. I was convinced that these people were out to get me and that I've gone to parties and people would be like, you work at Arcola, innit? And I'm like, yeah. Like, it was just, I have a baked face in Dalston just because that's where I grew up. And then I work in there and I used to play in there as well. So that is when mental health was just at its peak in terms of being introduced to it. And then I was like, and then my workplace paid for therapy. And I was talking to this lady, and I was like, what am I doing here? And we we did 4 sessions. I was like, okay, cool. I feel better. The boy didn't die. He reached out to someone that got to me. He called the workplace. I'm like, cool. And then we started talking about other things. And I was like, what's this?
I don't talk to you about this.
I don't think my workplace want me to talk about other things because that's not what they paid for. So I talked about other things, and then after I did the course of therapy with them, I was like, oh, I feel really light. And it was great. During that time was my first year of university as well, so juggling that and uni, it was horrible. Like, I had to get extenuating circumstances, like certificates and things like that. So fast forward to now, I feel like I understand, like, mental health is for everyone, first of all. Everyone deals with mental health. It could be high, low. But why I choose to share how I'm feeling is because I'm in a point where I recognize that this is a low point. You know, sometimes people just, you're low, you don't know you're low, you just know you're doing something different. Something's different about me. I don't know what it is.
And I don't
Sis,
like
you're depressed.
Oh.
That's what that is. And I try to be vocal about it because I just want people to learn from my mistakes or learn from like what I've done well. Like, I don't want it to ever be, and I try to show that I'm not stunting. Like, I will show you my highlights, but I'll also show you my low points because I'm not trying to stunt for you, I'm trying to show you Talia. If I'm trying to build up a personality for myself, a brand, I kind of want to show you the whole thing. Because then we'll walk around with just like a bubble around our head, like life is great, and sometimes it isn't. So I feel like people just need to understand that it's cool to feel like that. Sometimes it's cool to sit in your feelings, but then how do we move on from that? And I just try to be positive. And if everyone feels like no one's talking to them or they're feeling that they're in a dark place, that I can shed some light, even just a little bit. I'm not a therapist, no, I'm not going to be a therapist. However, just something little, to, I feel like I'm rambling, sorry. No. But yeah, mental health, that was my first experience of it, and I just don't ever want to get to that point. Yeah. So yeah.
Damn. I've got an amazing thing. I could just add lifesaver to your bio now.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Gosh.
Honestly, this day has been... this day is deep.
It is.
This day is deep.
I'm glad I haven't cried.
Honestly, because knowing you for so long and still finding things out, it's very... I don't know, it's like... It's a bit heartbreaking at the same time because it's just like, wow, I was there. Not to make it about me, but it was just like, I was there and you were going through this, and but then it speaks volumes to who you are because you came out amazing.
Work in progress.
You came out amazing. Honestly, thank you for indulging me on this day.
Oh, thank you. Second date?
Always.
Love that.
You know I'll be round.
Hey.
You know I'll be round. You owe me a cheeky oxtail. But yeah, let's lighten the mood. I feel like it was not a bit deep. It got deep.
Sorry.
Which is exactly what I wanted, because now they know about you. It turned into a life story session, but I feel like because there are so many names under your belt, we needed it so that we can account for every name you have under your belt. So now we're gonna take it onto the fun note, make it into, the challenge that this whole episode was about. Okay?
Wow, you competitive streak.
The episode is about me crushing you in, one of your elements.
Alright, cool.
This is what this episode is about.
Let's see how you do.
So after I've romanced you, I've made you relax, I've got into your feelings, you've got into your feelings as well. Let's even continue talking so that you cry a bit, and you're a bit off your game.
Yeah.
And then I'll come and thrash you. Yeah. All right. Okay. So join us in the challenge, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're in front of the decks. I'm not gonna lie, I know your talent, so I don't even know why I picked this as a competition. Listen, the best woman will win, and I promise not to take it to heart.
I don't know if this is fighting talk or not, like, ooh, I don't know.
I can't even fight on this one.
You might surprise me.
Because DJing is really hard. It's fun, but it's hard. You'll see it in a second, like the concentration on my face, it's all
There's
a bit.
a lot to do.
It's a yeah, there's bare to do, but
We've got this.
we've already decided I'm going first. As you can see through this top, my heart is already palpitating. Just, I suppose.
Oh my god.
Okay, but okay, I'm ready. You're gonna stand and watch from the sidelines. I'm gonna make sure I don't look at your face because it's gonna put me off. Yeah, if it, please, because then it will give me confidence, and then I can start.
I'm here with the shoulders.
I can start bigging myself then. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go. Just throw yourself in there, innit? Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go then, innit?
Let's play then.
Shush. Just shh. Right. Oh, I annoy myself. Okay. What? Nah. Just, you know what?
I'll put it halfway so that you can, there's a gradual rather than it just gets loud.
Is this help that we're seeing?
Okay, we'll start again.
So just.
It's Kelpie Live.
So cute, and when they jump so cute, I want people that go jump so cute. What's man, you go jump so cute. When the bed today and body, all the girls go shake their body, they go shake their body. Oh, you are gonna have me bona belly, they won't bona belly. You know the money you take up police, me and they love you gone.
Did it work?
You put the wrong fader down. What else? You're putting the wrong fader down.
Huh?
You're putting the wrong fader down. You're putting the wrong fader down.
Am I?
Yeah. You put this one down, you put that one down. And then
Oh no.
oh, are you sure?
You see what I do?
You tried it. My girl said, see what I did? No.
I don't care. I don't care.
Please.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna do it.
You can show the good start.
Do you know what I mean? It's going again.
I just love the dance routine. That's what everyone doing.
Oh, I'm so dumb. That was better, yeah.
I see what you did there.
Just for this song, I cannot.
Oh my darling, oh my darling.
You lot make me sick. Instead of you to dash me, you're supposed to spray the DJ. Come on.
Money reader.
You're supposed Alright, so I just finished tearing up the decks. I literally tore it apart because I was so terrible. No, I'm joking.
Stop, you're good.
No, I finished tearing up the decks in it.
Better than I expected.
Oh! But now, as we said, we're ready to shake a leg. So let the master be mastering, Sha. I'm ready. Let me step out of your way.
Stop.
Let me step out of your way.
Alright, let's do this.
She went in hard. No. No. Have you? No. Boy.
Nothing too much.
I love these melodies. This is how the old auntie dance. How they danced back in the day. full disclosure. No.
That's me.
That's you. Shoo. So I was just annihilated, as you saw. It wasn't. I know the verdict, but because of the nature of this show, we have to have a non-biased judge give the verdict. So, what will it be?
Is it solely based on my opinion?
Yeah.
Right. I just want to say, first off, that I think everybody did an amazing job who participated. Yewande, I was actually very surprised. Never seen you, on the deck before, and that was amazing. However, with that being said, it's Talia!
I can't even be sour. I can't even be sour. 'Cause the way my jaw was dropping. The way it was dropping.
Thank you.
I mean, that's just like your specialty. Just, dropping jaws.
I mean, I try.
unexpected remixes and just throwing out all the vibes, making me want to, broke off my back, but then at the same time, just slow wine, and then, sulker it up, but then at the same time, smooth, chill, like a spliff and sit in the corner. Do you know what I mean? All in one song.
Yes, that is what I like to do.
And the vibe is just constantly continued.
Yay!
It was honestly amazing. It was a privilege to be up against you. Ah, my goodness. My goodness. I'm gonna shake a leg at home just remembering this mix. So, the floor is yours. Let them know where to hit you up. Let them know where to find you. Because after this, the bookings, let's be honest, the bookings.
When the clubs are open.
The clubs will be open in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I
feel like
God permits us to shake a leg.
I feel we should just stop while we're ahead.
No, he permits me to shake a leg. Whether it's in the club or in my bedroom, I will shake a leg modestly.
I'm done.
So, yeah, let them know. Let them know, B.
You can find me on Instagram. Actually, everything's just Talia Darling. So Talia, another A, Darling, DARLING_. Find me on Soundcloud and Instagram. That's my main platforms.
Brap, brap, brap.
Currently-
Boop, 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 boop. Honestly, it's been such a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Love you outside of the professional world. Love you in the professional world. To the moon and back, honestly. And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So guys, you can catch me in the next episode, and you can catch Talia on socials when you start following her and when you start booking her. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye.